a good morning today, isn't it?
Good morning.
And it's Communion Sunday, which is always a good Sunday. And I wanted to go through this story in Matthew of a prudent servant versus an evil one, going off of what Jeremiah has been talking about, the fruit of love and how we're to be useful. Starting in chapter 24, verse 45, "Who then is the faithful and prudent slave whom his master put in charge of his household, to give them their food at the proper time? Blessed is that slave whom his master finds doing when he comes. Truly I say to you that he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But if that evil slave says in his heart, 'My master is not coming for a long time,' and begins to beat his fellow slaves and eat and drink with drunkards, the master of that slave will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour which he does not know, and will cut him in pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." It's easy to think that we're not on the way even to being that evil slave. But the thing is, who this steward, who this slave is treating is fellow servants. How he's treating them is what he's doing to fellow servants. He's beating fellow servants. He's getting drunk. He's not doing stuff to please the master. I forgot to hit start on the time. And as we're going about communion, Paul says in 1 Corinthians to not take the Lord's Supper in an unworthy manner, in vain. We need to consider before we partake of the bread, of the juice, where am I at? Am I being a useful servant? Is there anything that I need to repent of? Because do we want to be a servant that gets rewarded, that the master says, "Well done," that you're actually ready when he shows up? You don't know when the master's coming, but you're doing your work, so you're not ashamed of when he shows up. I don't know about any of you, but my siblings and I were procrastinators when our parents were gone. And we had a long driveway. We lived out in the country, so we could see lights coming down the road, and we lived on a dead-end road too, so we knew chances are this was Mom and Dad. We'd see the lights, and we're like, crap, we forgot to do this, this, and this. So you do the mad dash before they get in the house. And my parents may or may not have said anything, but they probably knew. But it was so much more peaceful when we actually did the list of chores well before the end of the evening. So Mom and Dad get home, and you're like, "Oh, hey guys, like, we already finished." There's a lot more peace in doing what you know you're supposed to be doing and not getting caught sitting on your butt. You're not caught off guard because you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing. How many of us do that in our Christian walk? How many of us are, I'll do that later. I'll deal with this sin later, or I'll do that confrontation later. I don't like confrontation, so that can wait. But that could be somebody's soul on the line. That could be your soul if you get complacent, if you get lazy. And so before we partake of communion, I want everyone to pause, to genuinely think about, examine ourselves. Where are we at? Are we diligent in some places in our lives and lazy in others? Are there things that we need to deal with? Is there confrontation or tension or strife between you and a fellow brother? Those things need to be dealt with. We're not to just let them sit there hanging over our heads, over our neighbors' heads. We don't want to be caught with our pants down when the master comes home. We don't want to be caught being lazy. and feeling like, oh no, he's coming down the way, we've got to get everything done, because the master knows if you've been diligent in your work. You can tell when something has been done consistently versus last minute. So let's not be last minute Christians. Let's be diligent believers who are faithful with the tasks that God has given us.